One trade can change everything.
Hello everybody, welcome to today's market update. We're going to do a brief recap of the live stream from this morning and kind of talk about where price is at and what we can look forward to for some upcoming positions here. Generally speaking right now, there's not, well, okay, so for me personally, I don't have a lot of edge in the market right now. And if we kind of, zoom out here and take a look about at what we've been doing, we're basically just caught in this range here. And my most, recent trades have been shorted here, just like what we had talked about a while back. It looked something like this, where we targeted the midline, the bottom of the range, and then down here at our final target here. We can go ahead and zoom in a little bit, I guess. So you can see, took this short, and basically since then I've taken profit here, compounded that short in here, took more profit, and then compounded here, did not take profit here, got front ran on my take profit, which I set at 27 to front run the bottom of the channel. So I didn't get profit taken there. We came up here. We were holding the monthly open, which is also the quarterly open, on a 4-hour time frame here. And even myself, I got a little bit shook out. I closed half of my position here, basically at break even, so it wasn't a loss. And then, shortly, of course, thereafter, we got this dump, to which I'm in profits, which is great, but not as much as I would have been, right? So this PA, this is kind of the message that I wanted to send to a lot of people in the Discord, because I've seen some frustration with the being in this tight range here and try to trade it. It happens. This price action is quite literally designed to get you to either, to shake yourself out, fumble your bag, sell when you should be short or long or whatever it might be. This sort of price action is designed to mess you up, right? It's not meant to. It's not, supposed to be there to favor you, right? So I am still short. I am in profits here. I would love to, I'm tempted. So if we go ahead and zoom in a little bit, I do actually, let's just take a look here. Yeah, so I would be tempted to add to my position if we wicked and revisited this level and held it as resistance, the monthly open, also the quarterly open, as well as the 618. I would be tempted to enter position there. My problem is that right now funding rates are largely negative. Delta is virtually neutral. These things don't signal a high probability trade for me right now. So with that said, against my better judgment, as much as I would like to open up a short position here or compound my short again, I don't think that it would be, I don't think it's for the best ultimately, right? I think that I'd be better off holding off here and looking towards some of my higher time frame positions, like opening up a long here, to which I would set my stop in this zone if we held this area as support. And then I would look for support here, and then I would get a little bit of a better entry, move my stop up here so I can increase position size, and then look to trade it back higher, right? And really, what I've sort of been looking at for some time here is, it's basically something along these lines, and we can go ahead and hide these moving averages. This being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, and then this being a 1, and then I want to do a like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Like this for our wave 3 then. And I want this to be is this would that be an ending diagonal? I can't remember if it's a leading or an ending diagonal off the top of my head right now. But I would ultimately like to do something like that and form, this wedge, possibly if we were to get this dump down, look for a long position here, take it to new highs and so on and so forth here. And we could kind of start to form maybe like a wedge here, something like that, that we would then later trade back down. And we can see like I have this, this fractal here, which is from this, and we can see just how nicely that does line up. We are having sort of this upward slow grind consolidation that momentum is slowly tapering off. To me, would signal some degree of a retracement and then, look higher. So being that I'm already short positioned and I am in profits, I'm going to hold that. I'm a little hesitant, like I said, on doing any kind of compounding when we have, negative funding rates like this. And when delta, like I said, is virtually, neutral. This isn't, negative 1.3 billion delta on Binance for Bitcoin is dust, right? So that would be my next higher time frame trade, something that I'm very, very interested in taking. I would maybe consider on a back test the 618, possibly maybe consider a short, but I'm not like overly eager to do that. I will say that it would be a nice sign to see us reject from this and have continuation to the downside. Let's take a brief look at good old ETH. So if we go ahead and look here, these are, I said in the live stream this morning, I've sort of been on the wrong side of a couple trades with Ethereum here. I can't remember exactly where they are looking at this chart per se. It's on my other chart. But anyway, I basically broke even on my last. I got stopped out on one. Well, I got stopped out on 2 ETH shorts, one of which I broke even on, and then the other one that I lost like 1% of risk on, which both no big deal. But to consistently see that I'm on the wrong side of trades for a couple of these here, I just it's time to ultimately reevaluate and look for a higher time frame resistance to give us a higher probability trade, something of a better trade, right? So those two zones for me are looking to take out this high here, give us a swing failure pattern for a short that we can look to trade at the very least back down to the top of this channel and maybe as a deviation inside. And then the next one would be to look to long somewhere in this zone here. I really do kind of like this area as an area of support. There's also a decent chunk of liquidity here. And if we were to line it up nicely, and we'll look at some of my lower time frame analysis, if we were to line it up, nicely also with this trend line here, we could see some degree of a bounce, again, at the very least, to the top of the range here. So let's go ahead and look at, we'll zoom in a little bit here. So let's go to our 4-hour. I want to hide. Okay, I have no idea where this is. Oh, here it is. So, price kind of broke up above this trend line that we have here, and it's spending some time here, and we could maybe end this with some degree of a deviation for then a move down. But price ultimately, got that closure above the previous month high. I was looking for a swing failure. We did not get that swing failure. We got the closure above. We held it for a second candle and a third for then continuation to the upside. And, for me, again, like, where is that level here? Do I have it on? I don't have it marked on here, but that it's like 20,300 or so. Somewhere up here is that high, right, for that swing failure. I would like to see that move here for some degree of a short. Now, again, and I know I've said this already a couple times today, but against my better judgment, I'm looking at this sort of range here. We have the value area high here. The point of control is sort of at the upper level of this range here, if we were to get a move to the 618, I would be tempted to take a short position with my stop loss above the current high. And the reason why, going against kind of like a little bit of what I talked about this morning in the live stream, is saying that I really want to wait for these higher time frame levels. The only reason I would take this into consideration is I do believe that BTC has lost its bullish momentum and does need some degree of a retrace before continuation to the upside. That said, if we were to see a sweep of the highs, that would be a different scenario. I don't think that we're simply going to continue from here, at the very least, with the information that I currently have looking at the chart. So with that said, we have this really nice order block down here with this fair value gap. I would really love to, at the very least, if we got this move up here, reclaim this trend line as resistance, right? Reconfirm it as resistance for then continuation, taking profit at the previous month high, top of the range, and then, then looking for maybe a long position, at the very least, to hedge here at this order block. And the reason why is I was going to look for some degree of a deviation for then another move to the upside. But ultimately, again, like my target being, my major swing target would be to come down here, take out this low, and this low, hit this order block, bounce off this fair value gap, preferably also happening where it coincides or somewhere maybe with this trend line possibly, and then, to trade it back up to then new highs, right? So I do think that I think that a larger retracement is looming on ETH along with BTC. It's just a matter of getting sort of that really nice entry, right, on a lower time frame such as this, to where that risk becomes very, very small. If we look at doing something like this and then trading it down, you can see, oh, what just happened there? Oh, I must have just deleted it. If we get that entry and we end up trading it down, you can see just how, I mean, the risk is so small, right, that this trade would then be worthwhile to possibly get some kind of a swing out of it. Of course, we would be taking profit here and here early on, but leaving that runner for a much lower level, and even possibly, not possibly, more than likely, we would end up taking profit down to at least holding only 25%, and then end up back testing here for then a compound along the way, I think would be very, very likely. And the reason why I was willing to possibly change my mind and look for a short position here is because the ETH BTC ratio is at what I would consider a pretty key resistance point. So if we just go ahead and take a look here, we can see this is all sort of a resistance zone here. But really, for me, the key resistance, starts at about here, which we can see that ETH is already, that is kind of where it's stopped and rejected from. And I wouldn't be surprised if at the very least we saw some degree of a retracement for either then continuation to the upside or for a full move back down, or possibly going a little bit lower even. So that is worth keeping in mind. And this is part of the reason why I would maybe be open to looking at that short position, whereas normally I would just like I said earlier, I would just prefer to wait for those higher time frame levels at this point, especially being that I'm already short on BTC. So I hope you guys enjoyed this market update as a short kind of a recap of what we talked about in today's live stream. I will be active in the Discord all week. We do still have some news coming up. I really hope, I'm actually pretty stunned at how kind of boring of a week it's been, at the very least for BTC, given all of the news that's been coming out here, all this data release and everything like that that we've had this week. So the big one will be the U.S. unemployment rate this Friday morning, and I think if we haven't already determined a direction by then, that this will really set the tone for kind of that next move. But for me, and I said this on Monday, I really would have preferred for BTC by this Friday, at the very latest Monday, Tuesday next week, to kind of bottom out for then continuation to the upside. Of course, I don't want to linger here anymore, but it's just timing wise, it would be very appropriate for it to happen to end the week or to start the week next week, and then then to have continuation to the upside, maybe doing something along this line, right? So yeah, with that said, guys, if you guys have any questions, I'll be in the Discord. I hope you guys enjoyed today's market update, and safe trading, be patient for your levels, and they'll be sure to come in time.